apparently we can't go live on Twitter because we ain't got premium.
Come on, man. This thing's not renewed. They're revealing our business to the public, man. All right, cool. Let me remove this. Let me remove this. Done. Save changes. Done.
All right.
I don't know why it does that.
Yo.
Sorry, go on. Intro. Sorry.
Yo. What's good? We're back in the NSO. We're here live and direct, ready to chop it up about a week of ups and downs. Word to my boy Snoop Dogg. I say my boy because it's like, hip hop dogs in the hip hop generation. We grew up with these artists, you know what I'm saying? As ever in the week with Tottenham, there will be smiles and frowns, and I think that's an apt way to describe the week that we've had. But before we get into it, just want to introduce the people I'm on the pod with tonight. Shout out to my boy Tobes. How you doing, bruv? How you doing? Is you still there?
I'm back. Sorry, my internet is just going crazy. I'm so sorry. I don't know. You already know. If you watch me on the Big Six, you know my internet is fugazi. So, yeah, I've had a whole heap of madness today to try and even switch providers. But anyway, I'm good.
That's good, man. It's good. At least you're breathing. Yeah, Scott Hall. How you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. I'm over here with Virgin Media internet, so I'm on the highest spec of it as well. So you can see me in HD, unlike my illustrious brother that's struggling with AOL dial up in 2025. The brother's freezing mid flipping sentence, bro. You can't even make this stuff up. Hey, it's gold. It's absolutely gold. But I'm in good spirits. I'm in good spirits.
That's all good. Guys, if you are tuning in now, if you're tuning in on Saturday, whenever you're listening to this, do make sure that you're following us on all the socials, the NSO. We try to keep the content coming every single week. Make sure that you keep locked into what we're unabashed with our opinions. We argue, we fight, and we bring the drama from the group chat live here and direct on the pod. So make sure you're locked in, following us at New Spurs Order, especially on X. You'll see us posting on there quite regularly. On TikTok, we'll be back on there as well. And also follow the main family, Touchline Fracker, all the crew. Make sure you're locked in with that. So many incredible things they're doing with the radio and the main pod as well on the Sundays. But guys, we're not going to hold it up. I was going to make a joke there about Richarlison, but anyway, we're not going to hold up too long. Let's get into it. We've had two games in that part of the season now. An interesting stretch coming back from that international break, where we've got games, every few days, and we had Everton at the weekend and then Newcastle in the Carabao Cup. We're going to start with the Everton game, okay? In the league. Premier League at the weekend. It's one of those games that you want to build some momentum going into. I'm going to start with you. Looking at Everton away, what were your thoughts? Were you confident going into it with the context around the game? Talk about injuries, players not in good shape, the squad maybe running a little bit thin. I know we talk about that a bit more in depth later on, but what were your thoughts going into that Everton game?
I thought it would be a difficult game. I think Everton have started the season pretty well. So I thought it would be quite a challenging game for us, especially considering we have an absolutely god-awful record in Merseyside. Just generally, it's just not been a good time in our travels going over there. So I wasn't really expecting a win. I did expect it to be like a score draw, but a low score draw. So not your usual 2-2, more like a 1-1 and a kind of like hard-fought kind of draw. But as we will obviously go on to later discuss, I was pleasantly surprised.
What about you, Tobes? Well, you going into that game, what was your position? Were you thinking it's going to be a tough game, or were you thinking that we'd have enough to make it work?
I thought both, to be honest. I echo what Yao said. So heading into the game, I wasn't expecting an easy game. I definitely wasn't expecting a clean sheet. I thought we would have our struggles because of how poor we had been over the last couple of games leading up to that game. But I also felt that we had enough quality on paper to go there and try and at least get something out of that game. Initially, I was edging towards a draw, but then I switched my prediction from a draw to a win when we were talking about it last Thursday, because we needed to win. We had enough quality, even with the injuries, to win, despite Everton's good start. The only people who could derail us, as good as Everton have been this season, would be ourselves, with the way in which we shot ourselves in the foot, with some of the decisions the managers made over the last couple of weeks of the lineup, with the tactics, some of the mistakes that we've seen from the likes of like a Vicario and whatnot as well, and some of the underperforming players that we've had in the attack as well. So we just needed a win, and I was going into that mindset of you have to win at all costs. So yeah, that was where my head was at.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. Obviously, with all the different injuries, and the players coming back from injury or coming back to match fitness, and then there's that talk, isn't there, about the midfield pivot. Frank seems to have settled on this 4-2-3-1 approach in most of the games recently, both before the international break and since, to middling effect. And we've expressed our discontent with this in the group chat to great avail. I'm going to give you, I'm going to go through the starting lineup, and I want both of you to answer this question. So the starting lineup, we've got Vicario in goal, Spence left back, Van der Ven, Danso, Porro, Bentancur, Paulinho at the pivot, Johnson, Simons, Kudus, and Muani. What was the biggest for you, Toes? What was the biggest surprise, or when you looked at that lineup, what was the thing that first jumped out to you? Was it Muani starting, Johnson in the lineup, or Bentancur? Which of those three caused you the most? Oh, okay, either concern or excitement.
I mean, it's weird. Bentancur definitely caused me concern because I really think he's not played anywhere near what he's capable of this season, which is ironic because, funnily enough, we're going to speak about how this game went and the game after this game where Bentancur does what he does. Same with Basuma, like a yo-yo. But anyway, I was concerned that we saw that same double pivot start again, especially after the poor performance we had overall as a team against Monaco. But what really surprised me was seeing Brennan Johnson. I thought we were past the days where this guy would be getting any sort of starting minutes at Spurs. I thought Frank had sort of cottoned on to the fact that, this guy is fundamentally not good enough to start for me, but I can bring him off the bench and he can nab a goal here or there. So I was very shocked to see Brennan Johnson, and not the good kind of shocked. I was like, oh, this is not good. Why is this happening? And then it sort of emphasized the fact that Odegaard was injured as well. I was like, where the heck did that come from? So Odegaard wasn't even in the squad, and I see Brennan Johnson starting. I'm thinking, what's going on here? I assumed automatically that we're going to have to see Brennan Johnson play on the left wing, and we all know how that looks. So yeah, that was the biggest surprise for me.
Yeah, so just in case Corel Prince is listening, Odegaard was in the squad, but it was the next game where he wasn't in the squad because of his injury.
Sorry, my bad.
Yeah, HMRC. Yeah. Gotta be careful these days. Yeah, what about you? But no, it's true. Toby, you make a great point there. We'll circle back on that Johnson point in a moment. I'm sure we've all got something to say on that. Yeah, what about you? Those same three scenarios. Bentancur starting, Johnson starting, Muani starting. Which of the three jumped out to you when you saw that starting lineup?
Johnson. Listen, I've got nothing nice to say about that kid, and I apologize to his parents because essentially it's their child. You don't want to hear that your child's being insulted on a weekly basis. But the two of them have to look at the chromosomes that they left when creating this one, because something ain't right, bruv. Something very wrong over here. Johnson just annoys the living hell out of me. And the game against Everton didn't change my mind. I don't remember him doing any take-ons. I don't remember nothing that he did in that game. Bentancur is the second one. I might as well reveal it to the listeners. Yeah, but as man are aware in our group, I've started a hate tour against Bentoncourt. And the tour is in full effect. What, we're 9 games in, and it's just been pure utter hatred. Like I don't know. I don't know what's gone wrong with him. Honestly, I don't. Far too inconsistent. Doesn't drive us up the field. Too passive. Like, and when paired beside Paulinho, it looks like we're just being like over the top defensive. And I'm like, well, one of them has to be like which is the one that is on loan here. The other one doesn't. He's got the license to go into the pockets, pick up the ball, link up with the attacking 10 or like he's got the license to do that, and for some reason doesn't do that. So I wasn't really happy with those two being selected, but I acknowledge that due to our injuries and certain personnel being missing, this is going to just be the case until people return. What I was happy to see was I call this trio the Baguette Boys. So that's Tel, Odebert, and Kolo Moani, the Baguette Boys. Hopefully we get to see all 3 of them play, and I can just watch their sacre bleu, but we got to see Moani play, and I think moving forward, I don't like saying this, but this might have to be the case. I think Richarlison is going to be our European football striker. Listen, I don't like what I'm about to say, but I don't think any of these players are going to get like full, playing Saturday, playing Sunday, Saturday playing Tuesday or Wednesday, kind of 90 minutes. I don't know what it is with players of today, but they can't do the two. They just look lethargic. So for me, if that's the case, I don't like it, but Kolo has to start the Premier League games. He just has to start the Premier League games, because what I saw against Everton was a good display for 60, 65 minutes. Something Richarlison clearly can't do, because when he did come on the pitch, Richarlison came on the pitch and the quality dropped faster than Tobias's internet connection. It was horrid. Everyone left fast. Like, yeah, I can't do it with this guy anymore. So please,
and yet he cops an assist, and that's the problem with guys like Brennan Johnson and Richarlison. And that's my point. I don't care too, yeah, but that's the problem. These guys, they'll do enough on the stat sheet for some schmuck to come round and tell you, what are you talking about? How can you say they're not good enough? Look at their GA. Look at their GA, they say.
You know what? What annoys me about them players? Okay, and I told my other group I had something to say. Yeah, Richarlison and Johnson. Obviously, Richarlison started the Carabao Cup game, which we'll get onto a little bit later. But what I don't like is looking through a squad, looking through a team sheet, and seeing dead spots. Obviously, Toby, you're going through a situation with your internet right now. We pray for you. But back in the day, yeah, when mobile phone coverage was still emerging and Wi-Fi was still emerging, and you go away for the weekend, let's say, and you're on the phone back home, where maybe to your sweet cinnamon apple, whatever, and then the line just drops unexpectedly. You go from the kitchen to the main room, and the line just drops because you hit a dead spot, right? When I look at the way we play, and I see a pass going into the left-hand channel, and I see Brennan Johnson, I just see the line drop.
Yep.
The whole pattern of play drops. Just dead spot. And the worst thing is when 2 of them, or 3 or 4, when obviously Benfica's not been in a good vein of form. When there's 2 or 3 of those players in your 11 at this level, okay, obviously Monaco was just horrendous at parts, but even in the Premier League, there are no easy games, okay, especially away from home. Even though ridiculously our away form is top notch, this season. Okay, you go away from home, the home crowd is into it on Merseyside, etc., and you got 1, 2, 3 players. If they drop their if that is a dead spot, you can get murdered, and it makes us predictable. It makes us one-dimensional, easy to play against, easy to counter, easy to figure out. And I think that's been my frustration over the past few weeks. And this is why, I think I tweeted it earlier off our account about we need to do better with our squad and our recruitment in terms of having quality down to player number 18, 19, and 20. So that when injuries do hit, you look around and go, okay, I don't mind that player is coming off the bench, or that bench player is now a starter. And I've been telling people about this mentality, right, in our club for the past 5-10 years, both offline and online. We can't get him because he will want to start every week. Yeah, that's the point.
Exactly.
That is the point. The reality of the situation is Richarlison is a glorified sub. Okay, you can put other letters in there, call him a scrub, whatever. Okay, he's glorified, and in that respect, he doesn't deserve to be playing at this level. He's not a top 4 player, and we want to be a top 4 club. So why are we going out to play any game, whether it be in the Carabao, in the Premier League, Champions League, with this guy in our team? I don't understand that.
It doesn't. You're right. It doesn't make sense. And I remember, there was a term I used to coin with there was a point where we had Lucas Moura on the right and Emerson Royale on the right. And I can't remember who it was that would play midfield, but I would call it the Bermuda Triangle. It's what, like you said, where the ball goes into that area, it's done. Yeah,
finished.
Forget about anything productive coming from it. And that's what happens when you feed the ball to Brennan Johnson, more so than Richarlison, but it happens with both, but more so with Brennan Johnson, but it happens with both him and Richarlison. And to your point, when you look at the way our squad has been handled over the last couple of years, right? It's jarring because there are some parts of the pitch where you can genuinely say, you know what? If this player is not out, if this player is not available, the player that can come in is not that bad. We said it in the summer, the right-hand side of our defense. If Romero is injured, we're not ecstatic, but we're confident that Danso can come in, step in, do a job. If Pedro Porro is not on it, you've got Jed Spence there, who is, for all intents and purposes, probably as good, if not a better right back than him. So you've already got good competition there. But on the left-hand side, when Van de Ven gets injured, Ben Davies. That's not good enough. When Destiny gets injured, we've got our right back playing left back who can't play, who isn't left-footed. You look at the striker position in the summer. Yes, he's had a dead leg or whatever, but Kolo Muani, if all things were well and equal and Solanke was fit and Muani was fit, that would actually be fine. If Solanke is injured, I'm comfortable playing Muani. I'm not comfortable playing Richarlison. I'm not comfortable playing Brennan Johnson. I'm not comfortable having 2 20-year-olds rotate for the left wing spot. That's the problem. There's an imbalance when it comes to squad building at this football club. Jarring, man. It does my head in.
I think when I first came on the pod years ago, Yao and I we joined the pod together, right? Pod brothers, right? Coming up to 4 or 5 years now, yeah. When we joined, we were in the depths of the Conference League, I think.
Yeah.
And even then, dark times, right? Even then, we said it. This squad is not built to play 3 games a week, right? And I look at it now and I go, we're closer to that in some areas, like you said, some areas in the pitch, even midfield, that midfield pivot. We're looking at Benzica, he's in a bad patch of form. We're going, right, bring Gray in. Okay, Gray's injured, bring Bergwijn, bring Sarr in. Do something different, little different profile.
Paulinho, exactly. There's decent depth there.
There's depth there, do you know what I mean? Where you think, okay, you might have some tough games coming up. Obviously, we've got Chelsea at the weekend or whatever. But if you're playing at Everton, you're playing at Villa, etc., you don't mind if a Sarr starting the game or Bergwijn because you think they can go toe to toe with those kind of teams, right? But then you look at other areas, you think, how did we get this so wrong? Let's face it, our backup left back is still Ben Davies. He's the only reason why he's not playing is because he's injured or whatever. He's on testimonial leave, whatever it is. Okay, let's face it. He's still the backup left back and left centre back. Okay, so we need to be guided about what's really happening with how this squad has been put together. And it's embarrassing when you realize that, we knew what we were going into. We knew that we're going to have these kind of fixture pile-ups. It happens every single year. The strain on footballers across the world is incredible. Okay, it's not just Tottenham. You look at many other teams, 8, 9, 10 players out. But it's not an issue as much as an issue when you've got quality to come in. So I think, going back to the Everton game, even though, yes, we ended up winning 3-0, right? We're putting ourselves in these positions where the confidence is not necessarily there, or you're having to rely on set pieces. There's no fluidity. You're asking other players to work even harder to make things click and get things going, or you're putting even more strain on Mohamed Kudus, okay, who now is carrying a knock, whatever the case may be, or Mwani, whatever, to do all these different roles because you've got dead spots on your pitch. The Wi-Fi was never meant to carry that much load, man. Like, let's just, even out the output, even out the output. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's my frustration with where we're at. And this is why, when I'm seeing these lineups, and I asked you guys that question specifically, I wanted to see, I was excited to see Mwani start, but then look and see, well, he's starting with Johnson. What's that gonna do for him? He's going to have to do some work. Bentancur was still there. Obviously, he went on to have a good game. But you look at it and you go, oh, it's difficult. And just on Bentancur, I think the frustrating thing is, if you actually look at how Palhinha plays, he actually does try to play forward, but he shouldn't, because you're still the defensive enforcer. So you don't want him to do that, and that's the problem. He will hit that pass forward, but you don't want him to do that as much as he sometimes maybe looks to do it. So because his pivot partner, Bentancur, is not doing it, it then exposes even more so the lack of forward movement through the midfield, which I think maybe, we look at the Newcastle game, has it changed a little bit? We'll see. But yeah, man, it's we need these players to step up because we've got a tough run coming up.
100%.
Which is gonna, for me, it makes or break that middle section of our season.
100. It's always the thing with these midfielders. We said the same thing last season with him and Basuma. Like, I've never really understood why people believe there's some gap between him and Basuma, because they're both not bad players. When they're at their best, they are very good players, and they made their impact known. We saw it in the Europa League stretch last year. Big performances away from home in the quarters, semis, and the finals. And I'm not just talking about defensive work. I'm talking about with the ball. I remember the first game against Bodo, they were sourcing. They were passing the ball forward, very, very structured, playing next to each other. But the problem is, these guys, their form is so volatile. We mentioned Bentancur now. I actually thought Bentancur had probably one of his better games against Everton, and then he has an even better game. And I know we'll touch on it with Newcastle. I'm like, but so you can play like this. You can make an impact going forward. You can pass and move and then receive and then pass forward. Like, why can't you just do this consistently? I just don't understand it. It doesn't make any sense to me.
It's very frustrating. And I think that's a brilliant word to use there, volatile. Volatile. And I think we need to find a happy medium. Like, if you're not going to be great, at least be good. But unfortunately, and this is where that drop off in quality talks about. Unfortunately, we suffer, and we've suffered for this for a while. Where, and I said this, our 1 to 11, when our best players aren't playing well, we've had years where Kane wouldn't have a great game, Son wouldn't have a great game, and Ali wouldn't have a great game. So that means I need a Wanyama and Dembele. You lot can't flop. You need to have a good game. If the superstars aren't doing well, the rest of you lot can't drop your standards, because then we're really up the creek. Do you know what I mean? So, listen, we're hoping that Bentancur's hit a vein of form and it sticks for a while. Let's see what happens with tomorrow's selection. We'll touch on that as well. We'll also look at that Newcastle game. But before we move on to that, Mickey van der Ven. I'm really liking what I'm seeing from him this season. I'm seeing a maturity. I'm seeing a composure. I'm seeing a couple pings as well.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
I'm liking the evolution of Mickey. What do you want to say on that, yeah?
Hey man, there's a reason why when we signed him, I said in the group that I think they signed him basically on the fact that they believe he's a regen of Jan Vertonghen. But the only difference is that he doesn't have those marauding runs that Vertonghen had in his younger days. And I'd say Vertonghen's more of a better.
Unless he's playing Man United.
Yeah, we forgot what a goal that was. But yeah, like he doesn't have that in his locker, or hasn't shown it as much in his locker. I guess the injuries are the reason why. But the one thing I am liking, this is why Richarlison is such a scrub, yeah, is the pass when what's his name? When Spence is like kind of backed into like a tight pocket, lays it off to Vertonghen, and Vertonghen just slaps it like up the pitch, and he's like, whoever's up there, bring that down, and we're off. Yeah, because I saw it against Everton bare times where it's like, all right, there's a bit of pressure. It went up there, Wani held it, and then we were at them, like literally at their door. I'm like, that's a pressure release valve that we haven't had in time. Yeah, I know people, wax lyrical about what Romero does, and I'm like, Romero does what he does, no matter who's there. like there could be oxygen up there. If he thinks it's gonna trap the ball, he's just gonna stop it up there. Like, so that's what makes me mad about Romero. But the fact that now it's looking like both our defenders, and one thing I have to, not just on Mickey's been paired with Danso the last few games. I think it's like three games in a row or 4 games in a row. But he's been paired with Danso, and honestly, I ain't been concerned. Like, you know how much they've had to step up there, because essentially it's not our starting, centre backs and stuff like that. But the fact that he's paired with another player that's not Romero for once, and it's still relatively solid, shows that his game is developed over the summer. Because had this been last season, if he had been paired with anybody, we would have got slapped. I will never forget the game where we went to Newcastle. I think Romero even played in that game. Oh,
Romero and Dragusin.
For my man. It looked nasty for my man.
Yeah, but, great dancing.
Yeah, but no, definitely he stepped up. One of the things that I think we're not giving enough credit to, and I think we do have to kind of give credit to, is that is a threat from set pieces now, boy. And it's not just the last few games. Go check it from the Super Cup till now. Yeah, if it goes into the box, he's about that. He's there. Man's trying to eat food and drink. I'm like, yeah, continue, brother.
Yeah, no, it's good. Listen, composure in both penalty boxes is good. For a defender. Obviously defending your own penalty box. I used to think he'd sometimes go to ground a bit too easy. I haven't seen that as much this year, but again, I don't think he's been facing as many 1v1 situations as he did under Postecoglou, which obviously we know why. Just our overall setup is a bit different. But also then, from as an attacking threat, it's good to have. It's good to have that in your locker, whether it be flick-ons or on the end of it, grabbing yourself a goal, shot on target, being a threat, being a danger. There seems to be a cohesive plan, because obviously we're actually working on it. We have a set piece coach and a manager who actually wants to work on set pieces, whether it be long throws, free kicks, corners. That's good to see. Shout out to Mickey, man. He's obviously captained the team on a few times. He's part of the leadership group and been elevated to that position. I don't think he was there last year, so been elevated to that position this season, especially with Maddison out. It's good to reward him in that sense. So 3-0 away at Everton. We then, so we grab those 3 points. Good. We go up to third in the league. A good position to be in as we go into, like I said, a crucial and critical run. Let's now look at the Carabao Cup, right? We've got the Carabao Cup coming up on the Wednesday. Start to hear little things. Gray's out injured.
Yep.
Odegaard carrying a knock, this one, that one, whatever. Again, Newcastle away, it's a tough place to go anyway on any day, let alone a Wednesday night. I was away on holiday. I managed to catch most of the first half and a bit of it, a bit of the second. Tobes, what were your thoughts going into the game and how the game panned out?
My thoughts going into the game were that this might be one of the few games where I'm like, you know what? If we bow out of this cup competition, it's not the end of the world. And you know me, I'm desperate for silverware and whatnot. But given the circumstances that we've been placed, or we were placed into, with the players missing, the opposition that we were facing, and the fact that they're defending a trophy that they won last year, they're going to take it serious. Not saying that we didn't take it serious, but we just didn't have enough quality for me to really believe that we could go there and beat them at their ground where we already said that they're so formidable. Just didn't have enough in the attacking positions to go there and really put them to the sword. In terms of how the game actually transpired, I actually enjoyed watching the game. I'm not going to lie to you. I enjoyed watching the game. I saw a lot of positives despite the result. And I saw a continuation of something that he tried against Everton. But I think this time we had a lot more success when we attempted to play the passes in the central areas. And I think we had a lot more success when we had with the players that were receiving the passes in the central areas. So case in point being Xavi. I thought Xavi was terrible against Everton, but I thought he was decent against Newcastle. But yeah, I was happy with what I saw. I think because he went with the on paper, he went with what looked like a 4-2-3-1 again, with one of Bergvall or Xavi playing as the wide playmaker on the left. But then, just like Everton, I think obviously in the Everton game, he had Kudus and Xavi basically playing in the pockets and Brennan Johnson as the sort of wide right option. This time round, he had Brennan Johnson as the wide right option, but he had Bergvall and Xavi playing in the pockets. He built up with a 3 and a 2, which is what we've been asking for the last couple of weeks. We had not seen that pretty much since the Super Cup. But he built up with, so Palhinha's playing at centre back. So he had Palhinha, Danso, and Porro as the 3 to build out. Then he had Bentancur and Sa in the midfield. He had Spence staying very, very high on the left-hand side. And he had Bergvall, Xavi tucking in. I thought it was a good approach. And I do think on another day, if we didn't have drunk goalkeeping from Kinski, who I'm sure we'll speak on, and really, really, really poor centre forward play from Richarlison, I feel like we probably would have at least scored a goal and maybe forced maybe some extra time. So all in all, I was pleasantly surprised with how we played, given the lineup, given the players that were missing. A lot of players were missing that didn't start. No Romero, no Mickey van der Ven, no Kudus, no Solanke, no Madison, no Kulusevski, no Destiny. Like, how many players have I just listed there that would normally start? No Vicario. That's about 7-8 starters missing. And to go there and put in a performance like that in a tough ground, okay, we didn't get the result, but the performance gives me encouragement for what we can see over the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, I think, and I said this the morning after, didn't I, in the group, context-wise, we had, 14 senior players or 15 senior players?
15, I think it was.
That's ridiculous, man. Like, it wasn't even November, and you're in that situation. So, listen, I half expected to see some of the young G's, maybe Janai or Luca or whatever, maybe on the bench, or I know there was the young kid on the bench, but maybe a few more of them to help supplement with the situation that we're in. It's very difficult, to get any sort of continuity, very difficult to get any sort of rhythm and momentum when when you're literally down to the bare bones in your squad. But the performance was encouraging. But yeah, you obviously, you play for me on the Saturday team, and you play up front as a striker, right? And a very good one at that. You score some, you score some incredible goals. Both by land and by air. I wanted to speak on Richarlison's performance, specifically in that Carabao, because we actually saw attacking patterns. We saw us playing for the middle, but what's the two things that are lacking there? Because as far as I'm concerned, he's still buffering. He's still buffering on Tyneside. What are the two things that really let him down in that game? If you had to give him 2 pointers and say, look, bruv, just do this for us.
The first thing I'll say is that he doesn't gamble at all. And the actual second thing, which might shock a lot of people because, they tend to give Richarlison this, is that he actually doesn't battle. He like basically, if things are not 100% perfect, he's completely rendered useless. So he doesn't press when the game is not going the way he wants it to go, and his inability to hold up the ball when things are not going his way are even worse. So it's like, I'll give this example. Early in the game, we're talking about the first 10 minutes in the game, he got absolutely bullied. I think he even got a foul. He might have received a foul. That one tackle irked him so much that there was a passage of play where Newcastle had the ball at the back and he just stood there. He stood there and watched the centre-backs pass it amongst each other, and he literally barely made an approach towards them. I was like, yeah, this guy's gone. His head's gone already in the first 10 minutes of the game. And then when we conceded, instead of like using that as, okay, I'm going to use this as fuel to, kind of get back into the game, get my head back into it kind of thing, he didn't. Again, he just done the same nonsense of moping around, complaining to the ref, got a yellow card. But the part where I realized, yeah, this guy, he's not only not gambling, he's gambling so late that he can't react correctly, was when we had that passage of play. Because I don't think he genuinely believed the ball was coming, or he had switched off after Johnson had headed the ball across, because literally as Bergwijn got into that position, the first thing he thought was, yeah, I'm passing this across. Yeah. And had Richarlison been level with play, because he was behind him, had he been level with play, or, because I know VAR wasn't in place there. So I don't think the linesman would have called it if it was a tight call. But had he been level with play, he could have steadied himself. Instead, because he was behind play considerably, he ended up like overrunning, overcompensating to kind of make up the ground that he was behind, and went past the ball. Do you know how useless you have to be to do that? Like, I'm sorry. Like, one thing I will say is this. Richarlison is what? How old? 29? 30?
28, I think.
28. He's moving like a 40-year-old. Take that as the biggest insult I can ever give you. Yeah, because I've played against 40-year-olds. He's moving like somebody where the muscles have completely given up on it. They said we can't twitch no more. We've got no fibers for you whatsoever. He is beyond useless. And with saying that, Tobias, you're my brother.
Here we go.
But
he's gonna blame it on me. He's gonna blame it on me. It's my fault.
No,
AI told you.
No,
you literally asked ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Whose fault was it that Tottenham signed Richarlison? And it said tapping Tobes is not at fault. That's what it said.
Listen, I heard it.
It said tapping Tobes does not make the decisions.
You know wait. You know what makes this worse is that this is not an exaggerated story. This is true. I wish we could put on the true stories. I went to ChatGPT. I said, nah, man. Like, I've been blaming this guy for so long. Is it true that he's at fault for this guy being at my club? And ChatGPT was like, tapping Tom's ain't at fault for this, man. Like, I'm like, nah, man, something's wrong here. Fam, why is he here? Like, we can't even get rid of him. That's what makes it even worse. Every summer, somebody tells this guy, "You're not wanted. You're not loved here." Yeah, and he's like, "I'm gonna stay.
I'm gonna fight for my future.
I'm gonna fight for my love. We don't want you. We don't like you. Like what? Like remember those old EastEnders when Peggy Mitchell would turn around and she'd shout at people, "Get out of my pub!" That's all our friends were shouting at him. Get out. And he's just there. "No, I love you. I love you, Stacey. We don't love you, man. Get out of here, man. You're killing us. Every time we see you, we get angry. We don't like your name on the sheet. We don't like your name anywhere. You know when you're in the stadium, Dave, am I lying? We're in the stadium. I can't remember what game it was. Oh, what match was it?
What, me and you?
Was it? Yeah, it was Champions League, wasn't it? This year. Champions League.
Villarreal.
Yeah. Richarlison's name goes up. Bruv, our sector was silent. there was no cheers. Well, I even think they pumped in the cheers through the stereo because I was like, I'm not cheering. So I don't know where them cheers came from. He is not liked. I don't even think he's liked in his own family. And you know what I feel about that? If you're not liked in your own family, leave it be, bruv. Go to Singapore or something, somewhere where you're gonna be liked, bruv. Because you're not liked here, bruv. Bounce, for flip's sake. And it cost 65 million.
Can I tag? Can I tag in here because
tag.
I actually agree with everything you said. And you know what's mad? Richarlison wasn't even the worst player on the football pitch for us.
Wasn't.
And that's what's crazy. Look at how Yao has so correctly and accurately described the stench, this Brazilian, Bolivian, Peruvian, whatever fugazi Brazilian stench that has been just wafting through Hotspur Way. He wasn't even the worst player. Guess who was worse? Just guess. Just guess who was worse. He's Welsh.
Let me tell you.
Yeah, he scores tap-ins and he does absolutely nothing else on the football pitch.
But Tobes, at least we got Bilbao.
Listen, well done to him.
You know what?
Bilbao, though. Thank God for Bilbao.
You know what? Do you know what? I'm gonna say it, yeah, and you're gonna say, "Oh, come on, you can't say this." I'm gonna say this, and I'll always say it. It was an own goal. It was an own goal. You didn't score. In my mind,
that's
in
nasty.
my mind,
Because it wasn't.
when I'm talking about that final, I'm like, that's a Luke Shaw own goal. Luke Shaw won us that game with the own goal. You did not win us that game. You are no legend in my eyes. You, Brennan Johnson, you are not a legend in my eyes. No,
That is so shameless.
No.
Tobes, you know what that is, yeah?
That's
You
fine.
know when I talk about 29, you know I talk about Ajax, yeah? And that's how Anana gave us that game, not more.
Yeah.
That's how bad it is.
It's nasty behavior.
I'm telling you guys.
Anana gave us that one.
Bro, it's actually like, you know what? Like, I was actually in disbelief. I was laughing in disbelief. I was like, guys, how have we somehow convinced ourselves to go out and spend 50 million on such a terrible football player? He's so bad.
Do you want me to
that first moment? Yeah, sorry. That first moment when he received the ball and he tried to cross it first time and he shanked it. I said, this is Emerson. This is literally Emerson Royale at right wing. This is Emerson Royale with tap-ins. I'm telling you. In fact, no, tell a lie. Emerson is a better footballer than this guy. Emerson Royale is a better footballer than Brennan Johnson.
People need to understand how nasty this take is, by the way.
Bro, Emerson Royale is
better.
better
Who it's coming from. This is a nasty take.
Emerson Royale is better than him at football. I don't care.
Okay.
Because I just don't understand how someone can be so good at timing their runs to be at the right place at the right time, and you are literally useless at everything else. He is awful. I'm going to give you in the summer about
an analogy at the end.
When I tweeted in the summer about selling this guy, I had so many Spurs fans in my mention. I said, if we're smart, we'll cash him whilst his stocks are high. Yeah, you scored 18 goals. Brentford, are you interested? Brighton, are you interested? Yeah. West Ham, are you interested? But nah, we need him. He's our only natural goal scorer. Do me a fucking favor. He is dog shit. He is terrible. Every single time he plays, he just ruins. He ruined so much of what we're trying to do. I can't take it anymore. I cannot take it anymore. I'm so sick of seeing this guy put on the shirt. I'm actually disgusted to watch him play football for our football club. Honestly, I don't even hate Donny, but he's so bad. That's how deep it is for me. I can't bear to watch it. I can't bear to watch it. I'm sorry. I can't.
Let me,
Not
let me
together.
give this. Let me give this. I want to say two things about Johnson. Yeah, this is one analogy that just came to mind about Johnson. Johnson, yeah. Let's say I recruited Johnson. We're gonna do a little robbery. Yeah, we're gonna go get some cash from Santander. We'll get the cash. Yeah, I'll be like, yeah, Johnson, you're the getaway driver. Yeah, man, put the car in park. Yeah. No, he won't. He'll just put it in park, and I'll be like, "Why aren't we moving?" He goes, "I'm in first gear." I'm like, "Whoa, bro, we're going nowhere. We're just gonna get yanked by the police." And we're just there sitting there, bro. Here, take it. You caught us, bro.
What could have been?
What killed me? You know what killed me on Wednesday? You know what killed me on Wednesday? I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, he's gonna play on the right. All right, yeah, cool." He got the game. He got the ball. Yeah. The first play that went out to his side, he turned, looked up, and saw Burns. And I said, okay,
Daniel Burns.
This is barbecue chicken. Yeah. I saw the space behind Burns and I said, brother, kick and run. Listen, that's all you need. Kick and run. And this kid looked up and said, Dan Burns, I'm not about that life. I'm going to pass it back to Benton Court. I said right there and then, two things have happened that I cannot understand. Either my Sky Go account has been hacked and I'm unable to rectify the fact that I've just seen a man pass the ball back when posted up against Dan Burns, or this child was born in the most portable state of all time. I've never seen such sacrilegious thing in my life. Bro, he looked, I saw it. They will be testament to this. If there's one thing that's going to make me mad on a football pitch, is if you see me, see you, and you don't pop, yeah, you must be mad. If I look at you and you're like, I'm still not going to pass to you after I've made a lung bursting run to get into the space and you haven't passed it, you must be mad. But the fact that he looked at Dan Burn and said, your 69 pace on FIFA is going to cause the 83 rated pace that I apparently have on FIFA problems. Yeah. Listen, every Spurs fan should do one thing that I used to do when I was a young kid. Get Football Manager, get FIFA, get, Pro Evolution doesn't even exist anymore, but get FIFA, get Football Manager. Sign for Spurs. Put Johnson on the transfer list. The moment he complains, tell him you will never play another match at this club so long as I'm playing on this console, yeah? Until he's out. In fact, one of the things I used to even do is just delete players. He's lucky I don't have a delete button for play. I would have I'd have deleted him before he even arrived at Nottingham Forest because of the victory of where I knew this was going. I'd have just deleted the kid. I cannot understand how every single time, and I've seen it. Toby's not lying. Fans online have, they got onto him. But I don't get into the whole back and forth with the fans that argue with Toby because they're mad. And I will say something that will just get me cancelled for the rest of life. Like I won't recover. Yeah, so it's not worth it. But I've seen these fans say it's the same fans that, like, I wanted to see Ange in season 3. And I said this at the top of the summer. Winning that trophy in the manner that we won it, where we finished in the league, showed the world who are the Spurs fans that know football, enjoy football, understand football. It also showed the world which Spurs fans were born losers. Nasty. The people that look in the mirror and they look in the mirror and say, hey, Phil, today I'm the biggest loser on earth and I'm going to love it. Those kind of people, they can, and I mean this with pure joy in my heart, they can never talk to me. So if you see me in the stadium and you're one of those losers that wanted to keep Ange, and you think that Johnson should have stayed because he scored 18 goals last season, which were all tap-ins. If you're one of those people, I'm making it very clear to the world. Don't greet me at the stadium. I'll slap you. I'll slap you.
Good.
Like, don't greet me at the stadium. If you come up to me and say, Johnson, I'll slap you. I'll slap you where you stand, and I'll tell you, rectify your life. Because God doesn't like losers. He hates it. Yeah.
As I always say, from a coaching perspective, whenever you got a player where so much has to go right in order for them to score or to do something well, it's not worth it. And it's just not worth having him in the team.
Honestly.
It's like I said, it's a dead spot. It's a dead spot. Him, obviously with Charlison, is hurting us. With Charlison, like I said, man, he's still buffering. Just, some of the play that he broke down on Wednesday was just like watching it back on Thursday and today this morning. Okay, what? No, you think it's not possible?
Bro, he plays like he's subhuman, bro. I don't get it, bro. Him and Johnson, they play like they're not human. I don't understand it.
You know what? The best example I could give you, they play like AI. This is what AI thinks football players will play like.
Yeah. You know, it's like instructions, run left.
Just deep fake coding. That's what they are. Deep fake coding. These guys are horrid. They're absolutely
they're so bad. They're so bad.
Anyway, listen. The reason why they're in their team, and the reason why they're starting, we would hope, is not because of as the club tried to do. They put out a clip of a Charlison scoring the top left or top right banger.
Top right is the training one. Right banger.
They tried it. Everyone was like, "Bro, don't go there. We're still hurt." Get out of my pub.
Honestly, you know that Jose Mourinho meme where he's got the earphones and I just saw this. I just like, get this shit out of my face, man. I just seen this guy miss like 2-3 sitters, but you're showing me a clip under no pressure in training and he's rapping it top bins.
I don't even know who was in goal. I don't even know who. You know what? This comment here is spot on. Shout out to Max McDowell. Shout out to everyone who's been contributing and watching and whatnot. Max McDowell says, worst part about Richarlison is when he struts like Vinny when taken off. You know what? I hate that as well. But you have had more. you've tripped over your own laces more times than you've done anything wrong in this game, and you get taken off at 60 minutes. You should have come off at 35, but we gave you till 60, yeah. And you're looking around like this is Galactico's era, and you're Ronaldo. Come on, man.
Hey, you know, Charlison possibly. I think he's one of the few people that probably looked at his parents and said, his parents would be telling him off, and he's like, "Oh, I'm the oldest child. You shouldn't be talking to me like this." And then his parents look at him and be like, "You're the only child. Like, there's nobody older than you. There's nobody lower than you. You must be mad. You're just insane in the membrane. I hate his guts. I hate him, and I'm sorry. I got love for my brother Tobias, but brother, whatever voodoo you did to bring him here, reverse it immediately. Yeah, get him out of my club."
Right. The reason why these guys are playing, hopefully, is only due to injuries, of which there are quite a few. And even though we had some good news on that front, actually. So, Tobes, I know you got to go in a minute. Let's actually talk on that quickly. The injuries have been stockpiling, like nuclear weapons. But Thomas Frank was able to give us some good news today in his press conference ahead of Chelsea tomorrow, saying that Romero, Destiny, and there's one other. Odebear. Yes. Odebear should be in contention to play tomorrow. Hopefully 2 out of the 3, maybe 3 we're hoping from the start. Tobes, how does that make you feel going into tomorrow's game? Just get your feel on that, and then Yao and I will kind of go into a bit of a deeper dive.
To be honest, I'm delighted. Not so much for listen, Odebear, I still think there's a level of impotence there that I don't like in his play, as even though he has been better in recent weeks, but it's not good to have someone who was actually looking like he was building some form injured. So I'm okay that he's back now, but really the thrill was Romero and Destiny, because you look at the way Nepa's taking my light. You look at the way in which we've been playing over the past 2 games, and you can only help but feel that way of playing improves significantly with Romero and Destiny in the side. Romero for the build-up when we're building with the 3 at the back, and Destiny because of the option and the athleticism, the option to sort of play the game through the full extent of the left-hand side, which we can't do with Spence. With Spence, we know he has the propensity to come onto his right foot, which completely shuts off a part of the pitch for us to play in. With Destiny, we're not going to have that issue. He will bump up and down. He will overlap. He will underlap. So I think it adds a completely different dynamic having both those 2 players in the team. So yeah, for me, I'm very, very happy with that news. And I think against a team like Chelsea, I feel like it's welcome news. It's welcome news. Balance is key. Balance is key. And I think Frank slowly but surely is finding the balance in what we do with the ball, what we do without the ball, where players need to be, the shape. That can only improve with players like Destiny and Romero in the team.
Yeah, definitely. You're spot on. I kind of set myself up for this one. In the group chat, I said I'll give Thomas Frank till game week 10. I didn't realise tomorrow was game week 10. I've been saying game week 10 all along. I didn't realise that was Chelsea still. Listen, we saw what happened on the end, after 10 games. And like you said, Tobes, that balance is key. And I feel like he is learning his players. The injury blip has not been great to have so many key players out. I was even thinking about that, even like Kulusevski, that's been a long injury. But he would have been perfect, even coming off the bench. 30 minutes here, 30 minutes there, or even starting the game playing 60 minutes, 65 minutes, rotating with Kudus or in other places, Simons, just giving a bit of, just an extra player with a bit of quality to help support what we're doing. Tobes, I know you got to shoot, so whenever you got to do that, all good, brother. But Yao, is the injury thing, is it a worry for you? Looking forward, I tweeted earlier and I said this. I said that it's not one-dimensional. We're looking at it. You've got Ange and his pattern of play. You've got the amount of games. You've got these players are young, it's all muscular. The intensity of the league we're in. There's so many things. This is going to be, I think, a legacy, unfortunately, that may haunt us for another year or so, where some of these players may start falling apart a little bit. But hopefully, again, with better squad planning, etc., we can navigate through it. What's your thoughts on this? Is it something that we should be really worried about moving forward? That at any point we could just go through a phase where 5-6 players just get, drop out?
For one, and I know you guys will be well aware of this. I've been saying it for like nearly 2 seasons. There's way too much football being played, like way too much. And you're finding that a lot of the bigger teams, in order to navigate that, have to almost have like an actual full 25-man squad of like starters, basically, or players that you could consider them to be starters for, whatever team that they're playing for. So we don't currently have that. We have, if everybody's fit, 12, 13. I'd say about 14, 15. I was going to say 12, 13, 14, 15 that you could say starters, or you wouldn't mind them being starters for your club. And then the rest are more like prospects / fringe players. You kind of have to wait and see how they develop, kind of thing. And so we're definitely going to have to kind of like give it time and see if this is kind of like a regular thing going on. But what Ange done for 2 seasons is, we're talking war criminal territory. Like, nah, because people forget he ran our squad into the depths of hell. Not even Hades himself, yeah, expected to see that many Spurs players down and injured. Yeah, like we were absolutely crooked for like 6 months of the season. Like, it's absolutely nasty. He played players when they were injured, brought players back too early. His tactical system meant that players were running at optimum levels all the time. Like, there was no rest in game. Like, there wasn't a game that we watched over 2 seasons where it's like, rah, we're actually like playing calmly, unless it was Europe in the latter stages of the Europa League. Outside of that, everything was helter skelter. So I'm glad that one he's gone. But unfortunately, because of the damage done over the last 2 years, we're receiving the residual now. People forget, and I've seen some fans online try and say like, "Oh, I thought the injuries were just an Ange thing." Well, Kulu was injured before Frank became my manager. Bergval was recovering from an injury. Flipping Romero picked up an injury towards the back end of the season anyways, because he didn't even play the last game. Flipping Mickey had injuries galore during like that whole campaign. Vicario even got injured. Like, Solanke picked up an injury towards the back end of last season. It's just
Destiny is the worst for me.
Destiny over and over and over and over again.
Destiny might as well not have played last year.
He might as well have not played. Exactly.
I don't remember him playing 5-6 games in a row.
Yeah. And then to make matters even worse, yeah, like he and this probably doesn't even help Bentoncourt. Yeah, I'm not like, he played Bentoncourt in the 6, but him doing doggies. This guy was doing suicide runs daily because of the way we played. There wasn't a game where I didn't see Bentoncourt not having to run like 46. Do you know what running 40, 60 yards is on the pitch?
Right.
When you're knackered? Like, it's not cool. Yeah. I think Frank has had a lot to contend with. It's unfortunate that at the start of this season, he's not had a fully fit squad, because then, you could have like at least seen more, or you would have had more of a sample size to judge him on. I think it's unfair. We can't even judge him till he gets all these players back, if I'm being brutally honest. Like, he's managed to navigate us having one of the best away records we've had in what, 6-7 years. I can't remember a away record like this where our first away loss was Newcastle. Like, I'm like perplexed. I'm like, well, we're almost in November. You mean to tell me we ain't lost away? That's incredible. But the home record, everyone is, raving about that and saying that's not good, blah, blah, blah. Well, it's not. But at the same time, neither is our atmosphere. Like, we have to make people fear coming to Spurs. It's not just the players. It's that there's a reason why they call it the 12th man. You don't go into a state. Look at Galatasaray. Galatasaray win 90% of their games because blood fire. You step into that stadium, them man are letting off bombs, letting off flares, cussing everybody's mums. Like, man are not safe over there. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, all right, cool. We need to bring that same kind of system to Tottenham, and I think he's done a decent job. But the Chelsea game is going to be a big test because players are coming back from injury, and we don't know how fit they are.
Yeah, and that's the I think the positive thing was that before the Newcastle game, he did say that Romero and Destiny were like days away. I think they might have been touch and go for Newcastle, and I think he probably just held them out just to make sure they were ready for Saturday. I don't think he doesn't seem to be, well, most managers aren't. He doesn't seem to be someone who brings players back early or puts too much strain on them. He would rather, go with someone else. So I'm confident in that respect. Looking at this Chelsea game, obviously there seems to be an emerging pattern of these tactical tweaks, and maybe these attacking issues are getting solved, and a bit more chance creation on Wednesday. We had I think 6 shots on target, and 11, 12 shots overall, which is decent enough away from home, especially with the team that we had out. Tobes, what for you is the main thing you want to see in terms of from a tactical approach? I know we mentioned it earlier with the three at the back in terms of kind of build up and stuff. We're at home. We should be looking to dominate this game against Chelsea team, which is a bit yo-yo-ish. Obviously, they scored 4 midweek, but then they've got some suspensions and injuries and whatnot. What are you looking for in terms of how we tactically approach this game?
I'm looking for us to use the full extent of the football pitch. To be honest, that's what's really important for me. I think Yao summarized the defensive stability that Frank has given us. So I'm not really too concerned. I don't see him going there and squeezing Chelsea high up the pitch and having us play on the halfway line. I think he's going to toggle between maybe like a mid block, and maybe sometimes when we're chasing the game, maybe you might see the line push up a little bit. But what I mean by use the extent of the full extent of football pitch is there should be no area of the pitch that should be off limits for us to try and hurt Chelsea. That's my thing, right? And I've spoken on it multiple times in this pod, but I think we've started to see him give us a bit more idea of what we want to do with the ball. Early on in the season, it was far too predictable. We basically didn't play through the midfield, and it was hit it to Porro hits it to Kudus, done. Very easy for teams to try and start sort of nullifying that way of playing. And then it meant that we had nothing on the left until Odebear came into the team, and then we had nothing in the centre. As bad as Javi has been, who I thought had a decent game, but generally he's been awful, in my opinion, this season, it's not been helped by the fact that he's not getting the ball enough when he's in the pockets. But now, the last 2 games, we've seen the team go out their way to play more passes into that part of the pitch. But we've also seen the manager tweak his system to enable more bodies to receive the ball in that part of the pitch and more players to play the ball into that part of the pitch. So that's why I'm saying, for me, with Destiny in the team, let's use the flanks on the left-hand side. With Simmons plus Kudus or whoever, let's play with the ball in between the lines, as well as using the ball to Kudus on the right-hand side. Let's utilize Romero's passing. Let's utilize Mickey van der Ven's passing. Bentancur, can you get us some more progressive passes in the midfield? Let's use the full extent of the football pitch, because I want to see us play well enough to beat Chelsea, right? But I also, it sounds mad saying it, I want to see us use the full extent of the pitch, but I also want to see us use the full extent of what we have at our disposal in terms of goal threats. We know that we haven't been exactly fluid, but we've scored a lot of goals in open play this season, and we've had a lot of joy from set plays, long throws, etc., etc. And if there's one thing we've watched, Chelsea, they cannot deal with set pieces. They cannot deal with any sort of aerial bombardment into their box. They can't defend them well. So I want to see that balance. Prioritize what you know, but also give us something that we need to see to say, you know what? Yes, I'm confident in what we're going to do with the ball. Yes, we're hurting Chelsea without having to bypass the midfield or have passengers or take someone out of the game. Use the full extent of the pitch, get everyone involved, because we're going to need everyone involved to win this game of football. We can't have games like Aston Villa where we marginalize our number 10. We can't have games where Kudus is the only threat because we're not using our left-hand side. I want to see all of that gone away.
Yeah.
And that's me gone.
No. Well, bless for that, man. Bless for that.
Thank you.
and that for me is key, in that kind of everyone being involved, and being able to look at our pattern of play and say that, okay, Simons, can you get on the ball in areas that can hurt Chelsea? Destiny, can you get it in the flanks? We see how Destiny can just bomb it down to the touchline, to the byline and whipping those crosses or those cutbacks. Mawani, I love the way Mawani now, when he's in the team, he's an option to hold the ball up, obviously better than Richarlison. And Kudus, when you're on the ball, end product, what are we seeing from you? Get those better players and those attacking players into some sort of fluidity and coherence where it's a positive display of all. Not that it's a negative display, that even if we still win it, we go, oh, we were left feeling that, we could have got some more out of it because we didn't have any fluency and we only won it because of, a couple of set pieces. Now, we'd always take a win over Chelsea, you're not going to turn up your nose at that. But I think with the momentum that we're on in the past couple of games and better performances, I think you'd want that, wouldn't you? You'd want to see a positive performance that results in that win. Yeah. What about yourself? What are you looking for from this Chelsea game?
I definitely want to see a more positive display. I do agree that the last 2 games there has been more positivity. We've created more. But the problem, you see, this is the problem with football today. If you're watching it, you will know that we're creating more. The only problem is the final piece, like the final shot, or whether it's on target or not. And this is the problem with football fans of today, that either don't watch the games or they do watch it, but they're dreaming it instead of actually watching the game. If the shot is not on target, people are like, "Oh, that's not a chance." Well, no, it is. It just wasn't on target. I don't watch football on XG and stuff like that. I see the performance. I see what's going on the pitch. We played Everton, who, whether people want to admit it or not, difficult place to go to, especially with their new stadium. They've settled in well. David Moyes, seasoned manager, knows what he's doing in the game. And we got a very well professionally performed result. There was a few players that were quite poor, but essentially we got the job done. Against Newcastle, none of the things that were coming off correctly came off correctly in the final phase. So that little, part of quality that we needed, none of that was happening. Why? Because we had an absolute black hole up top. But that's a different story for a different day. Yeah. However, in moving forward, if he gets the lineup right, so for argument's sake, let's say he goes.
I was going to ask you, what's your starting lineup?
My lineup would be, if everybody's fit, not including the actual injured players, but the ones that he has said that I have returned from fitness, from injury. Sorry, it would be Vicario, Destiny on the left, Destiny on the left, Porro on the right. Even though I don't like the kid, I hate his guts. Romero and Mickey. I would then go. I'd go with Paulinho and Saw.
Well done.
I know my game B. I'll go with Paulinho and Saw. I'll go with Xavi. Actually, you know what? Let me hold fort on Xavi. I'm going to leave him last. I'll go with Kudus, Moani, the best just returned from injury, hasn't he? I'll go Kudus, Moani, Xavi, Bergval. Now, Xavi, Kudus in the Everton game was pretty much given a free roll. I will say to Xavi and Kudus, you've both got free roll. And whoever tucks in, Bergval takes over their position. So if Kudus comes in from the right, Bergval goes out to the right. If Xavi comes in from the left, Bergval. So you don't really miss the middle, but everyone at that top triangle is just rotating. And I think with that, we would cause hell. Because watching that Everton game, I know at points people were like, "Oh, Kudus is holding hands with Johnson." Well, really and truly, he has no choice because Johnson can't provide anything. He don't know nothing. Yeah, people said he was holding hands with Johnson. Johnson wasn't there. He didn't exist. He didn't exist. It was just Kudus being in that position. Yeah. So for me, it's more, if you have 3 players that can rotate that position, the fluidity would be insane. Xavi does. He does need to step up them performances, though. He's better than this. He's been.
Oh yeah. And I'm hoping that a game against Chelsea, he was linked to them in the summer.
Yeah.
That in a home game against Chelsea, that he sees it as an opportunity to do something, to thrive in that respect. I wouldn't go with a 4-2-3-1 because I actually think Chelsea, if they are going to get anything from the game, it's going to be in midfield.
Yeah.
With Caicedo and they've got a bit of power in there, and they can overrun, and that's how they're going to nick something from it.
Yeah.
I would go with Vicario. I always go with Spence over Porro. I like defenders who can
I
defend.
just don't think he's going to do it. So that's why.
Yeah. But I like defenders who can defend. You know, I'm old school.
Same.
Spence, obviously Mickey and Romero and Destiny. I would go with Sarr, Palhinha, and Bergwijn. Sarr for the athleticism, you know. Palhinha, obviously, we know, and Bergwijn, he can make it tick. He can go from attack to defense, defense to attack. I think he has that link there. It can go to pivot if need be with that kind of defensive shield, and then Bergwijn can tuck in and do the dirty work when needed. And both Bergwijn and Sarr, as we saw last year in the European run and the back end of last season and at times this season, the beginning of this season, are comfortable going into wider areas and winning 1v1s, winning duels, which I don't think Bentancur's as comfortable doing. So I'm not sure this is the game for him. So that'll be my midfield three. And then I would actually have the Xavi, Mawani and Kudus. The reason why I'm not going with a 10 is because I think Mawani does like to drop deep, likes to link play. He can do a bit of that.
Yeah,
and then
he can hold up as well.
My thing to Xavi, I'm saying I need to see some more long shots, some shots from distance. He lost one. He hit one on Wednesday, was it?
Yeah, and it was a corner, and the ref gave nothing. Don't even get me started.
We know the deal. He hit that, and I was like, that's a confident Xavi Simons. Do you know what I mean? Listen, the bar's low at the moment. Like, he's had a torrid start to his time in England. But we need a big performance from him. Yeah, just blast the ball, brother. Mawani as well. Just get these shots off and get teams on their back foot. I think we're playing a little bit too cute. Where we get it goes back out wide to Porro and crossing, and it's low percentage attacking football for me in times. And this is what I know we keep going back to this player, but Richarlison. It's what annoyed me with Richarlison on Wednesday, right? The chances that he missed are the chances that he should be scoring, because the one thing we all know about him he scores headed goals, right? He had 2 headed chances where it's like dead on, bruv. Just put it back in the net, get it either side of the keeper. We're in 2-1, whatever, 1-1. He doesn't do it. In this game, we don't need him on the pitch. Now we can be a bit more creative, getting shots out of distance, bit of combination play. If Xavi tucks in from the left, that means Destiny has space to overlap. There's the underlap. We've got the natural left footer. Destiny loves to do the cutbacks. Xavi can get on the end of that. Bergwijn can get on the end of that. Sarr, we've seen him hit those shots. I think we just need more of that as opposed to really being too cute with it, which I think you have to be when you've got players like I said, Johnson and Richarlison, who so much has to happen and go right for them to be in a position to get effective shots off. So I think with the players that we have, we can take more risks, especially at home. The crowd is going to be up for it. And if you take more risks, to dare is to do, the crowd is going to respect that, And I think with that lineup, you don't sacrifice the defensive stability that we have. Romero and Mickey should be fine. Palhinha's there, to shore things up. Sarr can get back. Bergwijn can get back. I trust that to do the job. Before we go, what's your score prediction then?
Brother, I hate these Chelsea, man. Nah, man. They're the bane of my life. I hate them. I hate them with a pure and utter passion. I'm hoping for a 2-1 victory. I don't think we can keep them out, man. I hate their guts. But yeah, I'm hoping for a 2-1 victory. And I think we can win. If I'm being brutally honest, I actually thinking we actually can win, because it's not like they've been amazing, but if there is a team in London that really is our bogey team, it's Chelsea. Home, away.
You know what I was thinking about today? Everyone's posting clips of the 5-3 game, right? With Chelsea, sometimes the 11s that get put out, we've been okay and good enough to maybe win these games. It's a mentality thing. It's just a mentality thing.
I agree.
Even, was it last year? I think it might have been last year when we went 1-0 up.
Yeah. We went like 2-0 up.
Yeah, and it's just like, how on earth does that happen? Mentality thing, I think, with us.
Yeah.
That said, 2-0. 2-0 Spurs. Let's do it. Let's do it, man. Tune in, Spurs. Mickey Romero back. Vicaria's playing that prime Buffon. I don't need no Bilbao Bozo moment. Let's do it, man. 2-0. Let's put a marker down before a very difficult run in the season. I'm hoping for 2-0. Xavi to get an assist. I don't think we'll get a goal. Xavi to get an assist. I think Kudu scores and a midfielder. Maybe from a set piece or something like that. You know, a little knockdown in the box. Little quick movement. But yeah, 2-0, man.
If there's one thing you know I like as a footballing fan, because you've been to games with me and we've had bare discussions. It's quite hilarious anyway. Well, but we're gonna get into it. If there's one thing you know I like, yeah, is when that ball drops to the edge of the box and I'm like, just Ross it. I don't like. I don't even get. You know what? Saturday football. I've said this to man. I don't care if I'm playing up top. If I look and I see that ball trickling to the edge of the box, I'm just looking at man. I'm not going to say a word. I don't care if it hits orbit. Yeah. All I want man to do is just Ross it. Yeah. Because Saar came on the pitch against Newcastle. Ross won. Great save, by the way. Yeah, but no, that's a great save. It's a great save. But yeah, it's what I'm hoping for.
We just need to. We need to do it.
It's a strong. I
Yeah,
hope.
man. Yeah, no, let's do it, man. Let's
Yeah, I'm with you though.
put a marker down. Let's put a marker down. You know,
Punch these man up. I hate their guts. Jesus Christ, I hate their guts.
right? Listen, I always say, yeah, I, as a Spurs fan, I have to hate Arsenal.
Yeah, it's mandatory.
And I choose to hate Chelsea.
Yeah.
That's that, and I think the latter is worse.
Yeah, because like a natural.
I choose to hate you.
Yeah. Like, a natural hating makes sense. We grew up on wrestling. The Rock had to hate Stone Cold Steve Austin. They were both at the
top.
It
is what it is.
You know what I'm saying? But Bret Hart chose to hate Shawn Michaels. That's true hatred, bro. Man looked at him and said, I hate your guts. I ain't about this sexy boy thing. You know what I'm saying? I was like, all right, I hear it, Playboy. I hear it. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, if there's one game, man, I can't stand Chelsea.
I can't. Listen, somebody asked me one time, yeah, if it was between Chelsea and Arsenal to win a game, yeah, and it was for some sort of cup, who would you choose? I said I'd want both of them to lose. Do you know how much hatred I have to have for you to want you to lose alongside my rivals? Like, both of you have to go. Like, I can't stand either one of you. But yeah, it is what it is.
No, let's see. Listen, we need a big game from all 11. Like I said, no dead spots.
No dead spots, man. The signal can't be cutting out. No dead spots. No buffering. No AOL.
No dial-up. No freeze frame. No screenshots. No saving chat. You know what I'm saying? None of that. No dead spots, man. Listen, we need all 11, 14, 15, 16, everyone involved. Thomas Frank, all the coaches, the set piece coach, the ball boys, the fans, everyone to be up for this. If you're going to the game, do make sure you create an atmosphere, especially if you're listening to this obviously before the game. Make sure you create an atmosphere for the lads. Let's get the cauldron going. Some of the best games we've been involved in over the recent years has been when that stadium is hot and the atmosphere is real hot. Whether there's a tifo or not, just real hot atmosphere for the lads to walk out in. It definitely gives them an extra boost. So let's see if we can do that tomorrow and get a positive result to carry on some momentum, and stay third or see what else happens with the table over the weekend. After that, we've got Copenhagen, and then again we've got Man United, and then some more tough games to around the corner, including the big one coming up soon. Guys, it's been great. I appreciate all of you that have touched base and been listening in as we've gone live tonight. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your likes. Do make sure you share this with your fellow Spurs fans. Share it in your group chats. If you've liked what we said, if you've hated what we said, if you think that we're completely out of our minds, please let us know and let your friends know even more importantly. Tell them that there's some idiots down the road who are talking about Spurs. At least you're talking about us if you can't talk with us. Please make sure you do share, like, And finally, come on, you Spurs. This has been the New Spurs Order. Peace.